Behold the culmination of my grand design, my magnum opus, the Inspirit, Flagship Vessel. You see a mere spacecraft. I see the instrument of my final victory. For a pittance of mana, I lay the keel of my new world order. My lesser creatures, my servants, will station it, pouring their very essence into its core as charge counters. Once it stirs, its true purpose is revealed. At the beginning of my combat, it bestows its gifts upon my other artifacts, either a +1 counter to strengthen my soldiers, or 2 charge counters to fuel my Doomsday Devices. And once it is fully awakened, it becomes a magnificent 5/5 flying warship that cloaks my entire armada of artifacts in a shroud of hexproof and indestructibility. My machine will be perfect. My machine will be eternal. My flagship does not power itself on hope and dreams, you fool. It runs on pure, calculated energy. My loyal core tapper is a simple mirror, but its purpose is profound. It can tap to place a charge counter on any artifact, or in a final glorious act of self-sacrifice, it can bestow 2 counters at once. The energy chamber is a more passive solution, gifting a charge counter to one of my non-creature artifacts at the beginning of my upkeep. And should I need a sudden surge of power, Drill 2 Deep can instantly inject 5 charge counters into any of my spacecrafts. The engine must always be turning. Why settle for adding counters one by one when I can make them multiply? This is the art of proliferation. My Flux Channeler is a beautiful instrument. With every non-creature spell I cast, it adds another counter of every kind to any permanent I choose. The elegant Thrummingbird achieves a similar result through combat, a delightful reward for its aggression. The magnificent Dreamtide Whale proliferates whenever any player casts their second spell, turning their own frantic plays into fuel for my victory. And for a truly masterful stroke, Ripples of Potential allows me to proliferate and then phase out my key artifacts, protecting them from a board wipe while they continue to accumulate power, unseen and untouchable. My grand designs require efficiency. I will not be slowed by something as trivial as mana cost. My workforce of Ethereum Sculptor and Foundry Inspector ensures that every piece of my machine costs 1 less mana to assemble. My enthusiastic Mechanaut provides the same discount, with the added benefit of flying, allowing it to survey the perfection it helps to build. With these loyal artificers on the field, I can construct my entire war machine in a single, breathtaking turn. My arsenal is vast, and I require the precise tool for every occasion. My library is not a deck, it is a vault. Fabricate allows me to retrieve any artifact I desire for more immediate needs. Whir of Invention allows me to search for an artifact and put it directly onto the battlefield at instant speed, using my other artifacts to pay its cost. My Goblin Engineer can place a key component into my graveyard, only to reassemble it later. And the legendary Emery, Lurker of the Lock, allows me to cast my fallen artifacts from the graveyard again and again. Nothing is ever truly lost in my grand design. And what is the purpose of this beautiful accumulation of power? Annihilation, of course. My Lux Cannon patiently gathers 3 charge counters, and then it destroys any permanent I point it at. A rival's commander, their precious enchantment, gone. The Magistrate's Scepter has a far grander purpose. With 3 charge counters, it does not destroy a permanent. It destroys time itself, granting me an extra turn. And with my proliferation engine, I can take all the turns. And for brute force, the Titan Forge transforms 3 charge counters into a 9/9 golem. A simple, elegant solution. The +1/+1 counters my flagship so generously bestows are not for mere combat. With all will be won on the battlefield. Every counter becomes a projectile of pure energy, dealing that much damage to any opponent or their creatures. The infamous walking ballista is a masterpiece of this design. I can pour all of my mana into it, and then, piece by piece, convert its counters into a rain of lethal pings. The hangerback walker is its beautiful echo, growing with every spare mana I possess, and upon its death, it explodes into a swarm of Thopter tokens. My flagship does not sail alone. It leads a fleet. The Dawnsire, Sunstar Dreadnought, is a weapon of absurd scale. Once it has 10 charge counters, it can obliterate any creature or planeswalker with 100 damage whenever I attack. The Lumen-class frigate is my support vessel, granting my other creatures +1/+1, and eventually becoming a flying, life-linking warship itself. And for my intelligence operations, the Uthro's research craft draws me a card for every artifact I cast, growing ever larger as it siphons knowledge from the ether. Every grand machine requires a master artificer to oversee its construction. Joyra, Weatherlight Captain, is my chief engineer, drawing me a card for every single artifact or legendary spell I cast. Padim, Consul of Innovation, acts as my head of security, granting all of my artifacts hexproof long before my flagship is even online. And the robotic Kilo, Apogee Mind, is a delightful new addition, proliferating every single time it becomes tapped. The synergy is perfect. There comes a time when subtlety is no longer required. When the machine is complete, it is time to turn the key. The Cyberdrive Awakener is that key. When it enters, every single one of my non-creature artifacts, my mana rocks, my cannons, my scepters, roars to life as a 4/4 flying creature for the turn. An instant, unstoppable army. My planeswalker, Tesseret the Seeker, can achieve a similar, more permanent result with his ultimate ability, turning all of my artifacts into 5/5 soldiers. An army born from steel and genius. And now, a secret for you alone. The final, perfect gear in my machine. I will cast the Isokron Scepter, imprinting upon it the simple spell Dramatic Reversal. With enough mana rocks on the field to produce 3 or more mana, I can activate the Scepter, cast the Reversal, untap my Scepter and all of my rocks, and repeat the process. An infinite loop of mana, infinite storm count, infinite untaps. From there, the method of their demise is merely a matter of artistic choice. Why should I be constrained to operating only on my turn? The Unwinding Clock is a beautiful device that untaps all of my artifacts during each of my opponent's untap steps. My cannons, my mana rocks, my scepters, they will all be ready to fire again, and again, and again. The Clock of Omens offers a more surgical approach, allowing me to tap 2 of my lesser artifacts to untap a more important one. My machine never sleeps. Even a genius must swat away the occasional fly. Should my rivals attempt to disrupt my grand design, I have contingencies. Fierce Guardianship allows me to counter a non-creature spell for free. A delightful surprise for an overconfident fool. Mana Drain not only counters their spell, but converts their wasted energy into a massive surge of mana for my next turn. And should the board become cluttered with their pathetic creatures, a simple supreme verdict will wipe the slate clean. It cannot be countered. My judgment is final. So you see, this is not merely a deck. It is a monument to my intellect. A perfectly designed, interlocking system of gears and levers, where every piece serves the whole. I will assemble my engine. I will accumulate power. I will protect my creation until it is invulnerable. And then, I will unleash an army of perfect, indestructible machines to sweep their pathetic organic forms from my sight. This is not a game of chance. This is engineering, and I am its master. Heh heh heh.